PTF and Mikee P back here with you on the In the Money Media YouTube channel, covering the San Felipe Kentucky Derby prep action at the Great Race Place on this Saturday, March 1st. Mikee P, we got some big names from the various Derby lists in here. None bigger than Barnes, who Eric DeCoster has at number 1 on his Derby list at the moment. You tell them you'll call him back. Curious to know, first and foremost, would Barnes be your number 1 for the Derby at this point, or are you still carrying the flag for your boy, Citizen Bull?
Yeah, Citizen Bull right now would be my number 1 for the Derby. Barnes knocking at the door, has to stretch out though, has to prove himself, has to, I think, try to show something of all this hype that he is getting. Now, he could do that, but for now, again, to be the man you got, or to be the man you got to beat the man, and he hasn't beaten him quite yet.
And he doesn't even have any Derby points yet. So I think it's very important. I don't think there'll be too many loose screws when it comes to Barnes for this test. One of the reasons why I'm taking him particularly seriously in this spot. Perhaps the main threat comes from his stablemate, Rodriguez. Rodriguez was not ridden aggressively last time against Citizen Bull. My biggest concern about Rodriguez, maybe he won't be ridden aggressively again here, but it's hard to know. And he is a little bit more seasoned with that mile race, at least against the 2-year-old champion. I can't decide what to make of Rodriguez. I'm pretty sure he and Barnes aren't going to end up dueling, though. What do you make of Rodriguez in this spot?
He's a tough read for me. Now, you get Prat on board here. Hernandez is sticking with Barnes, and that could lead to a different ride. Now, the thing about Rodriguez is, if you watch his last race, he looked like he maybe did have things all figured out on the turn. When he finally was sat down, I thought he raced really well to try to catch Citizen Bull, but he just sort of lost his mind a little bit on the turn and lagged back, let a couple horses pass him. He ended up, on the back foot there, and then Citizen Bull was gone. Well, you can't let a horse like that get away from you. So it could be a different ride here. I think this horse has plenty enough speed. I mean, he's shown the fact that he has route speed. He's run some big numbers. He's the ultimate challenge, I think, for Barnes in this race.
But you do take my point, right? I mean, how many times have we seen Baffert with multiple runners in a race, and how many times do they duel? Once in a while, a horse will just go nuts and things don't go according to plan. But, no stranger to team tactics is he.
It's true. However, Baffert needs to start separating some of these horses. I do think he needs to find out what he has. And, they all need points. They all need to kind of see where they are leading into the Derby, and the ones that maybe he can go forward with, maybe once he wants to point to other spots. I don't think all these horses are going to end up in the gate. So who knows what's in the mind of Bob Baffert, but I would think that he would want to know at this point where he's at with both of these horses.
I mean, it could be a team scrimmage in that sense. See who survival of the fittest. It's so not usually the way it goes that I can't support the idea that they're going to duel. If they did duel, if they were trained by 2 different people who maybe didn't like each other too much, I would really like journalism in this spot. This horse has been high up on my radar since that big win last time. He's had a little bit of time to mature. I struggle with putting him on top, because I think one or the other Baffert, probably Barnes, is going to be too advantaged in this spot. But I'm not going to go out on any limbs here, but the closest thing to a limb I will go out on is maybe I like him to be second in the race to whichever Baffert, and maybe I'll look to the exacta in a spot like this, mainly playing Barnes over journalism with maybe a tiny backup Rodriguez over journalism. I just don't think he's going to get the setup, and I think he's pointed in a direction where he's going to move up off this race. I do have trouble thinking of him as likely of a winner as Barnes in this spot. Where do you stand with journalism?
Well, I think you can look at it 2 different ways. If you do like him, and if he makes that progression from 2 to 3, maybe ultimately he's the better one of this entire group. And that's one thought that you really haven't mentioned here on this video so far. So what if he's the one that is better than these 2 horses? Yes, Barnes, Rodriguez both have shown talent, showed some ability, but so has journalism. And he was able to win that grade 2 Los Futurity at 2. He's shown some tactical speed going long. He just could be improved. He's certainly bred. If you look at the mare side here, that mare raced 20 graded races in a row. So Obviously, there are tons of class. You got Curlin on the top side. This horse could be, in his own right, better than these horses and, kind of stamp himself the favorite for the Derby if he can beat these two horses. So if you do like him, I would take a shot on the win end for him. I wouldn't just concede this race to Baffert. Maybe that this horse, has developed from 2 to 3. He's certainly in the right hands with McCarthy. So that would be the possibility that I would be interested in it. If I was playing and you like journalism, I would put him on top. I would play him to be the strong one out of this group. And if you don't, then maybe I would probably think that both Bafferts would be 1-2. So that's how I would look at the race.
And well, you just laid forth 2 possible scenarios. I'm going to hold your feet to the fire and make you pick one. How do you figure to be playing this race?
For myself, I would be going with the Baffert Brigade 1-2. I would be Barnes on top, Rodriguez second. Now I could anticipate journalism being a good horse. He could prove it that, maybe he's the one that's progressed. But in this race for me, I just think that the Bafferts are too strong. I like the fact that they have recency. I do think that they are going to be the ones taking the step forward. So I would be heavy Barnes, Rodriguez, Exacta, and maybe wait for next time for journalism.
Yeah, I just don't see him getting the setup I think he needs. I mean, if I were making a Derby list of these horses, I might put journalism right on top, but that doesn't mean the San Felipe is going to set up for him. Are we wrong giving short shrift to the rest of this field? Do you think any of the other 3 could crack this Exacta?
It's unlikely. The only horse that I could maybe see cracking the Exacta would be Smooth Cruisin. Now, this horse has shown some late pace numbers, and that would be the thing. If you would get a serious meltdown on the front end, this horse has shown closing speed. Obviously needs to improve, but has beaten journalism in the past, has raced against Barnes. So has some races where that has faced the top ones. If you're looking for a closer, try Smooth Cruisin. Maybe, in a very rare scenario, he could get a piece.
Want to remind folks, it's a huge day of racing at both Santa Anita and Gulfstream. And if you're playing, you might as well bet in the Ultimate Betting Challenge. Great opportunity for contest players. We're also going to have tons of coverage of this loaded Saturday of racing in themoneypodcast.com. Make sure you subscribe to the In the Money YouTube channel and let us know in the comments who you think is going to win the San Felipe. Mikey P and PTF will be back with another video very soon.